morning, and thanks for joining today's event. I'd also like to thank the Veracus team for including us in today's virtual conference. It is greatly appreciated. I wish that we could meet in person, but we are still thankful that we have the opportunity to talk with you folks today and really help you understand how you can leverage the TrueCommerce suite of applications to make order processing easier for your business. So let's go ahead and jump right in and get started. If you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the chat, and I'll try to address those questions as we go through today's presentation. So my name is Reed Houston. I'm a channel account executive here at TrueCommerce. I've been with TrueCommerce for a little over 7 years now, focusing on really helping educate our partners and their customers like yourselves on how you can leverage TrueCommerce and our stack of solutions to optimize your supply chain. So a little bit of background on me. Although I am in channel, I'm a channel account executive. I was in sales here at TrueCommerce for the first 6 years of my tenure here. I've been working with customers like yourselves to help you guys automate order to cash, procure to pay, integrate with warehouses, fulfillment, and all of the different solutions that we offer. So if you do have any questions for me, regardless of what it is, I know enough to be dangerous. So again, feel free to drop those questions in the chat. Focusing here in terms of TrueCommerce at a quick glance, as you may already be aware, some of you may not. Not only has our product offerings grown over the last 7 to 10 years, so has our organization, and this is through a combination of organic growth as well as some acquisitions over the past probably about 7 years. There's been a couple acquisitions. The other thing you might not be aware of is that although we're headquartered here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, we have 16 offices around the globe, from UK to Ireland to China and Australia. So should your company look to expand into international trade, we also have you covered. As you can see here, some metrics on the slide deck: 181 million in recurring revenue. And that comes with supporting a little over 18,000 customers today. And we have those customers connected with a little over 160,000 different trading partners or different companies, whether that's a retailer, whether that's a distributor, a supplier, a warehouse, or a different sales channel that you might be selling through. And in terms of supporting all of our customers, we have a little over 1,300 employees globally. We are very proud to be recognized by some of the top industry analyst firms, as you can see in the bottom, like Gartner and IDC, as leaders and challengers within the commerce network segment that they have us in. And then also, it's always great to hear from your own customers through G2 Crowd, the customer survey platform. In terms of the 18,000 customers today, we do have a very large, diverse customer base. A lot of our customers, in terms of the industry that we're in, primarily manufacturers or wholesale distribution. But as you can see here, we support everything from your startup companies to major publicly traded enterprise level organizations like Procter & Gamble and some of the other logos you can see in here, and everything in between with your SMBs. So as you folks are aware, back in the day, before the whole omni-channel revolution, the supply chain was fairly straightforward and linear, right? Raw materials moved in one straight line from the supplier to the manufacturer to the distribution centers and then the retailer for consumption by us, the consumers, right? And this model really helped businesses standardize their supply chain process through a high level of efficiency and repeatability. If you think about companies like your Nike or Adidas or Apple, they used to follow this supply chain model, but now today, it doesn't fit. Today they're a manufacturer, they're a retailer, they're an e-tailer, they're also a distributor, and they're leveraging multiple different sales channels to further market their products out there. But, I'm sure that you're all aware that, the buying landscape, just even over the last 2 years of today's consumers, has drastically shifted, and omni-channel commerce is really the new norm of shopping. So, today's consumers expect to be able to order anywhere at any time. And this meant that a lot of companies, maybe your company that was primarily wholesale, has started to sell direct to consumer, right? A direct to consumer model through multiple different sales channels, like selling on marketplaces like your Amazons. Believe it or not, eBay is becoming popular now. 10 years ago, you told me eBay, if someone would be reaching out to you, one of our customers were reaching out to me because they have so many orders on eBay, they need to integrate it with their Sage. I would have told them they're lying, but that is the case. And through other web stores, I don't know too many of our customers that aren't looking into establishing a web store or adding on a storefront presence or a platform like your Shopify or our own solution we'll talk a little bit about today, like called NEXTERNAL. But with this sort of change or migration, it really results in the increase in orders due to a lot of small parcel shipments and not fulfilling in bulk, right? And with consumers ordering online more and more than ever, and thanks to Amazon, the expectations of their products, the expectations that their products will arrive as quickly as the next day. Not only that, but they really don't expect to pay for that sort of service. So what does this mean for you and your organization? And so what it really means is that, you need to be able to process orders faster and more efficiently to be able to cut those costs. So to stay ahead of today's whole omni-channel chaos or the omni-channel market, companies really need to be able to do business in a lot of different directions at once. But too often that means that you folks need to reach out to multiple different vendors, leveraging multiple different disconnected platforms with too much assembly and too many integration layers into Sage that you're trying to manage. Right. This is usually what most of our customers and probably what your supply chain looks like today. Although TrueCommerce started off 26 years ago, connecting, vendors or manufacturers or distributors with a lot of the big box retailers out there today. There's more in terms of the different sales channels that our customers are selling into and adding on that we can help with now. So as you can see here, in terms of what our customer supply chain looks like today, they're adding on these storefronts to be able to sell direct to consumer. In addition to that, the path of least resistance is marketplaces, especially when you're looking to expand into international marketplaces. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can help with marketplace connectivity. And then also unstructured documents. You may still have a lot of mom and pops that are ordering, picking up the phone, calling customer service. Maybe they're sending PDF orders through an attachment on an email. We'll talk about how we can automate that process for you. We'll also address some things around fulfillment, and then also the supplier community. Most of today's presentations focused on integrating order to cash with customers and fulfillment. But we'll also talk a little bit about how we can help automate the procure to pay process as you folks start to add on additional suppliers. We see a lot of our customers starting to adopt more of their supplier community, expand their supplier community because, maybe through the pandemic, the borders shut down, we weren't importing products and their inventory depleted. So now they're trying to add on additional suppliers. That doesn't happen anymore. But at the end of the day, the main focus is how do we connect all these into Sage without leveraging multiple different vendors and multiple different integration layers. And that's where TrueCommerce can help. And that's where the TrueCommerce Foundry applications that I'm going to address at a high level today can help really tie in and automate the entire supply chain through our one platform called Foundry that I'll talk about here in a second. But in terms of the applications that I'm going to talk about here today, there's going to be a handful. It looks like there's going to be 4 that I'm going to be addressing. Now, with that being said, track 2 later today, 11 a.m. Central Time, we're going to focus on one of the products called Product Manager. We're actually going to do a live demonstration of that solution, and I'll talk a little bit about that product here today to see if it might make sense for you to jump into that session as well. But in terms of the solutions that I'm going to address, number 1 is around supplier enablement, as I mentioned earlier. So helping automate the procure to pay process and the adoption rate and the integration with all suppliers as opposed to just the biggest of big, the EDI suppliers. We'll also talk about, our native EDI solution with its extended capabilities, right? We've been doing EDI for 26 years now, integrating with Sage, but we've expanded its capabilities to not just translate and integrate EDI, but also it has now pre-built connectors to the e-commerce platforms, the marketplaces, PDF conversion to really automate the order to cash cycles with all of your customers. We'll also talk a little bit about inventory and fulfillment with our multi-carrier shipping solution and our product manager, our PIM application, and then how all this ties in with Sage 100 with our Sage 100, our native Sage 100 integration. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here, folks, is that all of our applications are built on a platform called TrueCommerce Foundry. And really the point of Foundry is that it provides that one extension into Sage and that one unified user experience through one platform, regardless of how many the applications of TrueCommerce that you leverage. As you can see my screenshot here, I have our pack and ship multi-carrier shipping solution. I have Pulse Analytics, my EDI platform, and my marketplace integrators visible to me with one secure login. It is cloud-based. It's natively multi-tenant, built on HTML5, device and browser agnostic with full disaster recovery. And one of the most important things, folks, is the SOC 2 compliance, that we invest millions and millions of our customers' money back into our security to make sure that our customers' data is always secure over our network. In addition to that, that also includes internal training with employees. I'm very familiar with those. They're a pain in the butt, but that's something extremely important today, and we take a lot of pride in. So first, really focusing on how TrueCommerce can help tie your supply chain together and integrate with Sage is going to be connecting customers, automating the order to cash cycles. So first and foremost, number one is around EDI compliance. And this is probably out of the 18,000 customers, this is probably the product that most of them enter the TrueCommerce family for. And there's a couple different reasons for that. One is around compliance, right? So maybe you just got your foot in the door. Maybe you have a pilot test order with Bed Bath & Beyond or with Walmart. And they say, hey guys, listen, you have to go out there. I know Target is great for this. You have to find a third-party provider like TrueCommerce. You need to have an EDI solution. You need to be able to electronically exchange your orders and shipment detail and invoices with us. We're not going to do it via email or through paperwork or anything of that nature. So they send you over our way. We show you the product. We talk to you about how EDI is offered here as a managed service, how we manage everything from the network connectivity to the translation to the whole out-of-the-box user interface, and then also the ability to integrate into the ERP solution that I'll talk about here in a minute for scenario 2. But a lot of our customers are just leveraging our platform, non-integrated, not even integrated yet into their ERP solution, just to be compliant, right? They say, hey, listen, it's a test order. I just need a solution for now, low upfront costs. Let's get started here. As my volumes increase, that's when you run into scenario 2. That's when someone calls us up and says, hey, listen, I'm using your solution for Target. I'm using your solution for Bed Bath & Beyond. I'm using Walmart's retail link portal to pull down orders. I'm using Wayfair's extranet to pull down orders. I have all these portals that I'm logging into, and then I'm sitting there and I have a team of employees sitting there entering all this data into the business system. Everyone that I talk to says, hey, if you move to an EDI communication, TrueCommerce can integrate all of these different portals with your Sage ERP. And that's the case. So really the second benefit of TrueCommerce when it comes to EDI is not just being compliant, but also being more efficient. So we can consolidate all those portals. So you don't have to log into these portals and then through one solution and one interface, integrate those right into Sage to write in the orders, send back order confirmation, shipment data, invoices, so on and so forth. We have a little over 122,000 different trading partner plugins that we already have mapped over our network. There's probably not going to be too many customers, suppliers, warehouses that you need to integrate with or that are asking you to communicate via EDI that we don't already have mapped out on our network. And again, we offer this as a managed service. So should you have someone that we don't already have mapped out today or connected through our network today, we have a whole trading partner services team that their whole job day in and day out is to get the mapping guidelines from the new trading partners, get those mapped out, as well as maintaining existing maps. I know Walmart changes their EDI maps and their documents quite often, and we make those changes on the behalf of the customer to make sure that you're always sending and receiving the most compliant data today. With that being said, we have multiple different integrations that we offer with Sage 100. As you can see here, we offer the order to cash cycle, automation and integration, and we also offer purchasing integration. In addition to that, we also offer inventory and warehouse documents. So as you can see here, the warehouse documents are actually baked into sales order and accounts receivable. But should you be outsourcing your fulfillment to a 3PL, we can integrate you with those warehouses to automate the communication of the warehouse shipping orders and then receiving back of the warehouse shipping data to write in into shipping data entry there. So there's a lot of other additional features in terms of our Sage 100 integration. We're not just pushing and pulling data in and out of Sage, right? There's a lot of logic that we put behind our Sage Business Objects integration. For example, if it's a direct-to-consumer order, or it's B2C, we have the ability to take an order from like a Shopify through a Shopify connector, or maybe it's you're in the dropship program for Target, and instead of just writing that order into a generic or a general customer record, we can actually look at the first name, last name, the email address, compare those, and if they're not already within Sage, we can actually do what we call customer create to create that customer within Sage. And then from there, that allows you to do a lot of marketing to hopefully increase sales. But outside of EDI, folks, a lot of our customers have multiple sales channels, right? And a lot of those are marketplaces. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the path of least resistance is quick setup of some of your products on a marketplace. So we do have the API connections built out for a lot of these different platforms through our EDI solution to be able to, again, automate the writing in of the order, sending back the shipment data, like your tracking information, as well as inventory and product information to help automate those different aspects of the direct-to-consumer relationships. But that's not the end all be all. What about folks that still continue to order via email? That's fine too. That's actually still very popular for some of our customers in specific industry verticals like industrial products, right? Customizable products. Most of them are still getting a PDF order through an attachment or within the body of an email. So we have the ability through our OCR reading to be able to convert that over our platform into an EDI order and interface that right into Sage, leveraging that one order integration that we built out, or that one order extension that we built out with Sage. And then last but not least here, focusing on automating order to cash with customers. Although we are e-commerce agnostic with Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, we have all those connectors. We do offer our own e-commerce solution that's very competitive to those products. It not only offers your traditional B2C, but also it has a baked in B2B ordering portal. So if you have customers that are still picking up the phone, calling customer service, you can give them a username and password. They can log in, only see the products you want them to see at their specific price point, place those orders, and those would flow right into Sage, leveraging our integration. One thing I want to point out here, folks, we're not the $30, $40, $100,000 e-commerce platform. One of the reasons for that is we're not doing custom development of your website. We already assume that you're either working with another third party. If not, we can put you in touch with one. Or you already have a website and now you're looking to add on that shopping cart experience, right? You're looking to add on the shopping cart and the whole order management backend. So what we're doing is we're doing a site sync with your existing brand. We're not overhauling your brand or creating your brand or anything of that nature. So it is a very, very affordable solution for a very low upfront cost, as well as a very affordable recurring monthly fee, depending on the amount of orders that are being placed through the platform itself. A lot of cool features, mobile ordering, the mobile POS, you have outside sales reps, maybe. We have a lot of wineries that leverage this product on their tablet. At the winery itself, there's a lot of other specialized components, loyalty, subscriptions, clubs, reordering. What we've done is we've really adopted the Amazon experience. I know that you guys on the phone here, myself included, when you log in, you expect that Amazon experience, because usually when you're looking for products, the first place you start off is Amazon for the most part, right? So we have a lot of features and functionality that really replicates that Amazon experience to make sure that your customers are satisfied when they are shopping your products and they want to come back and purchase more and be repeat customers, which is the most important aspect of e-commerce. Now, moving and transitioning from customers to fulfillment, as you guys start to add on additional sales channels, you need to be able to fulfill your products. You need to be able to fulfill your products faster today than ever. If your competitor can ship a product and be on the doorstep of the consumer the next day and you're 2 or 3 days, you're probably going to lose that business, right? So how do you optimize fulfillment? Number one, you may be outsourcing to a 3PL. Maybe that you're located here on the East Coast, where I am in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and you have a third-party fulfillment center for your West Coast orders, so they can be fulfilled quicker, they can get to the consumer quicker. So we have a little over 100 plus different integrations between our Sage and our EDI platform with a bunch of the 3PLs out there. It doesn't have to be EDI. We have a lot of 3PLs that we integrate with our integration via XML or some sort of other file exchange. That's fine as well, but just wanted to let you know that we can automate the shipment documents with a 3PL should you be outsourcing fulfillment. But with that being said, if you are fulfilling a lot of your products internally, maybe you're still logging into UPS World Ship or FedEx Ship Manager, and you're locked into those portals, you're entering the shipment data in there, and you're just doing it for rate shopping. You want to compare the best rates. Or maybe you're using something like a ShipStation, but you have these EDI requirements with Target and Walmart for this document known as a EDI ASN, and you have these UCC 128 labels that you need to print, but that solution doesn't handle those. That's where a multi-carrier shipping solution called Pack and Ship is going to come into play. Integrates with 60 plus different carriers, not just domestic, but international. Our friends up north, Canada Post, Purelator, supports all of those connectors to be able to automate the uploading of the order into Pack and Ship, do all the rate shopping. You can shop rates across rate groups, print all the shipping labels, the packing slips, the branded packing slips. If it's a retail order like a Target that's going directly to a consumer and they require their logo on the packing slip. And then from there, also EDI container labels. A lot of your customers, if they're a retailer, most of them today require that label. Well, instead of printing that out from the EDI solution, then going to your shipping solution, printing it out from there, trying to match them up, we can spit them all out together with our Pack and Ship solution. And then from there, there's multiple different ways that we can help around getting that shipment data back to the customer. Whether that's back to Shopify as a tracking information so the consumer can track that order, or whether that's a retail order where they want a full detailed ASN and you're shipping to the retailer's distribution center. They want to know what items are in what box, on what pallets. So we can either integrate that shipment data back into Sage and pull it from there, or we can write it right over our network over to the customer from Pack and Ship, which is a major benefit to a lot of our customers, and the reason a lot of our customers really like this product. There's a lot of cool features. I could spend all day on this solution. If you're interested in taking a look, please let me know. More than happy to set up a one-on-one presentation with you to walk you through the product itself. In addition to that, some of you out there today may be leveraging Starship, our partners over at Starship. Just wanted to point out that we also have an integration. We've been integrating with Starship for many, many years now. So, should you be leveraging TrueCommerce already for EDI, and you're also leveraging Starship, just wanted to point out that we can connect that and automate the pulling and sending of the advanced ship notification from the Starship platform over at our friends at V Technologies. So moving into managing item content. And this is one of the products that we're going to be presenting later today, 11 a.m. Central Time, myself and one of our supply chain collaboration specialist, Steve Norris. He's actually going to walk through this solution. But having rich content like videos, 360 views, user manuals, things like that, published to your customers on the various sales channels you're selling into to be able to review the products is extremely important, right? Rich product content is extremely important, and it does matter. In fact, 22% of returns are because there was a difference in how the product was displayed and what actually showed up. I know I've had that experience multiple times. I'm sure that you folks on the phone have as well. But also, did you know that 73% of all US adults are more likely to purchase after watching an online video of the product? And conversion rates increased 47% when products were shown with a 360-degree image. So this is, it really solidifies and is really a great indication that rich product content is not just a nice to have now when selling through your online sales channels, but it's a must to be successful in today's digital world. But yeah, with that being said, a lot of you are probably managing your product and rich content through multiple different sources, right? You might be drowning in spreadsheets. You might be pulling some of that information from Sage, which is usually your basic item information, inventory level, price, right? Description, and that's pretty much it. Or through some other different systems or some other sources. And this is where TrueCommerce's product manager that we're going to present later today can help. The application is a cloud-based central repository for all of your item content. And really, there's a couple different stages in terms of leveraging this platform. First is ingesting the data from the multiple sources, whether those are spreadsheets, files, pulling data from Sage 100 through our native Sage product information integration that we have. And then from there, enhancing the items with rich content like imagery, 360 views, also videos, right? And then from there, it includes the ability to validate the product readiness and completeness by each channel that you're indicating for each solution. So, we know the requirements of your sales channels. We know the requirements of Amazon. We know the requirements of Shopify. We know the requirements of our own solution, NEXTERNAL. So, the product manager application and its set of tools can really help guide you through knowing which products are ready to be published and which one needs attention. I mean, you can see right here on the screen, my golf hat here has everything that meets that sales channel's requirement. It's ready to be published out automatically through our integration that we built with it. Whereas this 1 hour golf lesson still has some things that we need to update, and then that can be assigned out to certain employees. Usually the person that's working on SEO or working on descriptions doesn't also work on uploading imagery. So, there's also tools in there to be able to help manage the workflow of who needs, to take care of those specific tasks. And then from there, it's just publishing that data out to the various sales channels that we integrate with today. And there's multiple different ways that can happen, whether it's API or whether it's still through some sort of file upload, but we can integrate and publish right through Product Manager. And really at the end of the day, folks, this can cut down on the launch times of new products by a little over 33%, especially when adding on new sales channels to the supply chain itself. So helps you go to market a lot quicker. And then last but not least here, before I let you go for today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how we can help around connecting suppliers. And real quick, I'm just going to check the chat for a moment here to see if there's any questions. Nope. Okay. All right. So focusing on connecting suppliers. So most companies don't effectively trade with their supplier community. Most have some sort of manual process. Some even have like a vendor guideline or a binder of how to trade with their supplier or how to order from their supplier. They look into often because there's really no system or no automated process in place. So let's take a look here what happens. So number one, the buyer has to know how to send the order to the supplier in what format. Will they accept that PO via email? Do I have to send it? Is it an EDI capable supplier? How do I get that that order to the supplier? And then from there, did they get it? How are they confirming that they got the order? Usually they're either picking up the phone, they're sending an email, so your inbox is full of confirmations. And then from there, how do you know that they received the product? How do we know that, they can ship in full, if the delivery date can be met or if the pricing is accurate? And then from there, matching up the invoices. Whenever you receive the invoice, making sure that you're not overbilled and it does match up with the original purchase order. So this is a pretty daunting task for a lot of employees, maybe even within your organization. And this is where TrueCommerce's one-time supplier enablement solution can help. So really the goal of one-time is to maximize your supplier adoption rates to as close to 100% as possible and really provide those suppliers with options to enable them to communicate automatically back to you. So number one is our one-time platform supports both EDI and file type suppliers. So if you have EDI capable suppliers, usually the biggest of big, 10 or 15% of your suppliers are probably EDI capable. The other long tail are not. Some of them may be able to exchange. Maybe they want the orders via XML or some sort of other, flat file. We have the ability to set up those sort of integrations. But for the long tail suppliers that don't have electronic means to be able to trade those documents, it also acts as a vendor portal. So the PO is sent the same way, we're pulling it from the business system via EDI. And then from there, we're going to route that to the vendor portal where they can either get an email order. We can shoot that order out via email, which has clickable links on the order to guide them back into the one-time portal, where in there they can go ahead and view the order, they can do the acknowledgements, they can enter tracking and shipment data, as well as do the invoicing directly within the system. And then from there, that would convert and translate into EDI, integrating back into Sage, matching that up against the original purchase order with a bunch of logic that we put behind our integration. And then last but not least, for invoice-only suppliers, we can do PDF to EDI, where they just send us a PDF. We upload that over the platform, read those PDFs, and then convert that to EDI, and then interface that back into Sage. So, again, really the purpose here, folks, is that regardless of the supplier's technical capabilities, we want to be able to integrate and automate the procure-to-pay process with all suppliers. So some of the things to keep an ear out for, or some of the things that you may be experiencing today that you see here, it may make sense to reach out to us. We don't want to do EDI on our own. Maybe you're trying to manage EDI in-house and you just can't keep up with the requirements of the mapping updates, or the hardware that it requires and managing servers and things of that nature. Maybe we need to automate all these orders from e-commerce storefronts and marketplaces. You want to integrate those with Sage. You need to fulfill your products faster. Maybe you're having trouble managing all these suppliers that you're starting to add on. Maybe you have more inventory than what you need. We can help with inventory. Maybe your team spends too much time matching up invoices. So that's where the procure to pay automation comes into play, as well as maybe looking into starting to drop ship with suppliers. That's also something that our platform can help out with. And there's a bunch of other things out there that we can help out with that aren't on this slide deck here. But one of the differentiators I wanted to point out, most of our customers still compare us to a lot of the other EDI companies out there. And one thing that I wanted to point out in terms of the key differentiators is, they all have the EDI communication, the network connectivity, and the ERP integration. Now, whether they outsource that to a third party or not, I'm not sure. I know that here at TrueCommerce, all of our EDI solution and marketplace integrations and e-commerce integrations, it's end-to-end. So everything from the network connectivity to the translation to the integration with Sage, that's all built, managed, and maintained in-house by TrueCommerce. In addition to that, we provide that unified user experience should you be leveraging multiple different applications that TrueCommerce offers. And we do have the ability to integrate more than just EDI. Our platform through one extension integrates EDI, PDFs, e-commerce, and marketplaces through one platform and one extension into Sage. And then also in addition to that, typically we're about 30% lower in terms of total cost of ownership compared to a lot of our EDI competitors out there. But folks, that's really everything that I wanted to cover in terms of a high-level overview of how TrueCommerce can really help tie a lot of the different aspects of your supply chain together. Please keep in mind at 11 a.m., I know I mentioned this twice now, is our track 2. It's actually going to be a live presentation of the product manager application to help leverage better content for online sales. So we do hope to see you there, and I will go ahead and stop here.